Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see very important articles that appear in our today's newspaper. First, I'll let you know the topics of the day, and later on, I'll be explaining each and every topic in detail from both prelims mains point of view, and I'll be giving you the prelims practice questions at last, guys. Online students, please don't skip this video anyway. Please do watch until last so that you will be getting lots of insights regarding how to prepare current affairs for UPSC. So first topic is India has crude oil stocks for 25 days. Because of the turmoil which is happening in this West Asia, it is affecting our India's oil energy security. So now this article is saying that we are going to have oil stocks for just 25 days. This article is important from economy, from GS paper 3 and as well as international relations. Next topic is poll dates for 4 states, 1 UT likely to be announced after EC review next week. So this article is talking about one of the important functions of Election Commission of India. And this year, the students who are writing this prelims 2026, this Election Commission of India will be very important. And this topic is important from your polity from GS paper 2. Our next topic is AP launches major project for wildlife conservation. Actually, AP launched one project. The name of that project is Hanuman. So here you have to see what is that Hanuman project and how this Hanuman project is important for conservation of environment. And this topic is important from environment and ecology from GS paper 3. Our next topic is Center Inc.'s rupees 5,000 crore deal to strengthen maritime security. So this article is talking about our Indian Coast Guard, and we are going to purchase two equipments. First one is helicopter, second one is missiles. So here you have to know about the details of that helicopters and as well as missiles and how it is going to enhance our maritime security further. And next topic is Canada under Carney. So recently we discussed about deal between India and Canada, which is about uranium, and the same thing which is discussed here, and it is important from international relations and as well as GS paper 3. And next topic is safety last. So recently we discussed that there is a blast and firecracker unit in AP. So this article is talking about why this kind of incidents are happening in this AP. This topic is important from disaster management from GS paper 3. Our next topic is the US-Israel attacks on Iran threaten global fuel trade. So this article is talking about again the impact of this wars on global energy security. And this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under IR. So most of the articles are related to IR because of this ongoing issue in this West Asia. Okay, now let us see the title. Read out the title, guys. India has crude oil stocks for 25 days. So what is this article talking about? It is talking about oil stocks in our country. Okay, so this is the keyword that you have to see. Do we have oil reserves in our country? Yes. In which area we have oil reserves? Indian oil reserves. Where we have Mumbai High, Assam Digboy. Next, Krishna and Godavari Basin. Normally, where we have this oil reserves? Normally, in which locations we have this? Normally in this coastal regions, and wherever we have water reserves, there we can see this kind of oil reserves. Here we have Mumbai High, Godavari and Krishna Basin here, and in this Assam region we have this Brahmaputra. So on this here we have certain oil reserves. Apart from that, are there any areas do we have oil reserves in India? Think. Huh? Islands. Okay, we got a report that Andaman and Nicobar is having huge amount of oils, but we didn't start exploration and we didn't have the correct details of how much amount of oil. We didn't started that because of this forest, because of environment clearance, everything. But there is a report that we are having huge amount of reserves in Andaman and Nicobar. Okay, next. In yesterday's class also I said that you have to make a note of where this oil reserves are located in India. Do this that at least today. And next, tell me from which countries we are importing crude oil now. Yes, Russia, Iraq. What about Iran? Iran, are we importing or not? Earlier we used to import, but now we are not importing. Okay, if Iran is there in that list, you have to eliminate that. Next, yes, Saudi Arabia. Next one is we are importing from USA. We are importing from Venezuela, very less amount. So please make a note of the countries and try to arrange them in decreasing or increasing order. On this also you may get a question this year for sure. From which country, which is the most largest country from which we are importing, and even you have to see in the world which is the country that is having world's largest reserves. World's largest reserves of oil present in this Venezuela, but it's not the top producer. You have to see which country is the top producer of oil in the world. These two are different. Having reserves is different and extracting that reserves is very different. And not only extracting, you have to see like exporting is happening from that country or not, whether they are using for their domestic purpose. So these three are the areas that you have to force. So first one here is you have to see world's largest oil reserves present in Venezuela, and now your work is you have to find out which is the largest producer of oil, and this one is which is the largest exporter of oil in the world. So on these three areas also UPSC can ask a question, and you may get separate question on this Venezuela oil also, because most of our oil refineries are raising concerns related to this Venezuela oil. We can't refine this Venezuela oil. Why? What is the reason? What are the properties of this Venezuela oil? First one is more amount of sulfur. Next, thickness, viscosity is very high, so that the movement of this oil will not happen at a faster pace. Next one is acid levels are more in this Venezuela oil. Whatever the infrastructure that we have in our Indian oil refineries, they are not suitable for this processing of this Venezuela oil. Because of this, they are raising certain concerns now. Okay, yeah. And next possible question you may get is about fractional distillation. What is this method of fractional distillation? I think you might have studied in your science in your school days. What is this method of fractional distillation? We are separating the components at different levels based on what? Yes, based on the temperature. We will heat this crude oil, and at different temperatures we are isolating different compounds. So now you guys tell me, in this fractional distillation, what will be the outcome? What will be the products that we can get from this fractional distillation of crude oil? We can get petrol, we can get diesel, we can get kerosene, we can get naphthalene, and other products. Tar, natural gas we cannot. Gas we cannot get from this fractional distillation method. While exploring, what happens here is, while exploring this oil, if you are going for digging of an oil reserve, first what happens, oil will be escaping from this, that is your natural gas. And after once gas is released, then we will go for removal of this oil. So do you know how the process of this oil formation happens? I think you might have studied in your environment and ecology, yes or no? If trees were buried under the ground, years, thousands of years, what happens? The increasing of pressure, increasing of temperature, that trees will be converted into coal. For example, if there are animals after dying, if they are buried, because of increasing of pressure, increasing of temperature, this animal products will be converted into oil. Whenever this decomposition process will happen, first of all the gas is released, right? That gas will be trapped first, and below this gas this oil is formed. Whenever we are going for exploration of this oil from that area, first this gas will be trying to escape. That gas is natural gas, that is produced naturally by this decomposition of this animal material, right? That is a natural gas. And after once we remove this natural gas, then they will remove this oil. So this is the process of formation of this oil, natural gas and coal. From plant products we can get oil, from animal products we'll get oil and natural gas. Okay. Now, you have to see one more area where UPSC can ask you a question. Next one is strategic petroleum reserves. Do you know about the strategic petroleum reserves? Strategic petroleum reserves. Do you know this concept? No idea. Okay, India don't have reserves of crude oil, right? And we are importing majorly from other countries, that you know. What happens if there is world war, or if there is any war which is going on in this West Asia which is stopping the entry of crude oil from other country? Can we survive? No, right? So for that, what our government did is, to overcome this kind of emergency situations in future, we started storing of certain petroleum in our country. We have three strategic petroleum reserves where we can store huge amount of petroleum. If this kind of emergency situation also happens, means we have to survive at least some days. Okay, so those are strategic petroleum reserves. Now this article title says that India has crude oil stocks for 25 days. So till today, whatever the imports we did, with that imports we can survive for 25 days. And apart from that, we have three strategic petroleum reserves in our country. And if we cover that, also means we can survive around 45 to 50 days. Even if you're not getting any imports from other countries for next 45 to 45 to 50 days, we can survive. If this continues beyond this, means our energy security will be getting affected. Okay, so here there is a chance of getting question regarding this strategic petroleum reserves, which is given in this article somewhere. I'll show you that. Yeah, see here, the source said that crude oil reserves does not include that from emergency earmarked special petroleum reserves. They are called as strategic petroleum reserves. And in this, if we count that, also means we can survive for 50 days. Around 50 days we can survive even if you're not getting any oil imports for next 50 days. But if this continues for beyond 50 days, means we cannot survive. So now you guys have to think, for example, if this condition is continuing beyond this 50 days, it is affecting our energy security. What can be done by the government of India to ensure energy security now in our country? This is a big problem, right? So now how can we overcome this difficult situation? Do you have any idea? Electric vehicles, okay, next. One thing is electric vehicles, next. Come on, come on, come on, next. Okay, think about that, guys, after the class. Now let us see the context. India maintains approximately 25 days of crude oil reserves in commercial storage, and including the strategic petroleum reserves, we can go for additional 25 days so that we can have the energy security which is self-sufficient for 50 days. Okay, and we have three strategic petroleum reserves. Please make a note. First one is at Mangalore, second one is Padur, third one is Vishakhapatnam. Only three areas we have the strategic petroleum reserves. Please make a note: Mangalore, Vishakhapatnam, Padur. And in this, we are storing around 100 million barrels. 100 million barrels of crude oil we are storing in this three strategic petroleum reserves. Okay, so why we are talking about this current stock levels, why we are focusing on this here is because of increasing of geopolitical tensions in this West Asia, and we are getting most of our oil reserves from this West Asia. Now it is in turmoil. Because of this, now we are calculating what is our oil strength, how many days can we survive without getting imports. And next one here is, we have Strait of Hormuz, right? So this Strait of Hormuz had been locked by Iran, and from this area around 20% of global oil trade will happen. Again, this had been blocked, so that there is some supply chain disruptions that we can see in this oil. Okay, and what happened is, like, these countries, because of this attacks by drones, missiles, etc., these countries, they stopped the production of oil. That is the next reason. And this one is, if you are following the news, some news channels are saying that what are the oil tankers which are moving in this area had been under attacks. So because of this also, transportation of oil is also not safe now in these regions. Because of this, stopping of transportation is good. That is a wise decision. That is a thing which is mainly is in the headlines of major news channels. Okay, so these are the reasons why we are counting about our oil reserves now. Okay, now what is the impact or consequences? The first one here is, if there is extension of this war more than 50 days, we cannot survive. So we have to go for searching of alternatives. Which are the alternatives we can have? So we have to avoid this movement through the Strait of Hormuz. So mostly if you are buying from this Venezuela, or if you are buying from this US, also they will be coming from that route only. Apart from this west side, now we have to move towards east. Now tell me guys, from which countries we can get this oil reserves other than this west? US is not the choice. Next. Yes, we have Russia again. We have to move towards Russia. That is the only one choice that we have. But in yesterday's class, we discussed that we are decreasing our imports of oil from this Russia. Again, we have to go for negotiation with Russia. Okay, next one here is, because of this oil issue, the barrel price had been decreased because the supply is decreased and demand is increased. Obviously, what happens? Increasing of price. So here per barrel, the dollar price had dollar. It is around 80 per barrel. So because of this, even if there is $1 increasing of price also, that will have impact on our import bill. That will have impact on our petrol and diesel prices in our country. Okay, that is the thing guys. And say this article, poll dates for 4 states, 1 UT likely to be announced after election commission review next week. So here this article is talking about one important function of election commission. What is a function which is saying here? Deciding of election dates. Okay. So here how can I expect a question this time? This year SIR is in news. This year election commission related articles are in news. Adult franchise is in news. Right to vote is in news. Okay, and issues related to Supreme Court and election commission is in news. And even now election commission is going to announce the dates. That means functions of election commission is in news. So how can you expect a question? You can get for sure a question related to Election Commission of India. The question will be like this. Consider the following statements regarding Election Commission of India. They may give about appointment process or removal process, eligibility criteria, tenure, whatever it may be. And this one is, they may give question about this SAR. Consider the following statements regarding SAR. That is also a possible question. And next possible question is, they can ask you the articles. Article 324, 325, 326. What are they? And identify the correct pairs. So in this way, you can expect a question, guys. And now, in which states we are going to have elections? Any idea, anyone? In which states? They are saying that 4 states and UT is having elections. Which are the states? Just expect. Guess. West Bengal is there, correct. Next. Yes, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal, and one more state. UT is Puducherry, yes. So we have Kerala, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Assam, Puducherry. So in these areas we are going to have elections. And now Election Commission of India is going to release the poll dates. That is nothing but election dates for this states and UT. Because of this it is in news. So just see about the facts. Election Commission of India is a constitutional body or not? Yes, it is a constitutional body. Which article talks about it? 324 to last. 329. Okay, Article 324 talks about Election Commission of India. What is the power of Election Commission of India? Conduct elections, supervise elections. Next. What is said in this Article 324? That is the thing I'm exactly asking about. Okay. Okay, so Article 324 says about Election Commission of India, and it tells about the powers, superintendence, direction and control of elections. Next question, tell me guys, to which things Election Commission of India will be conducting elections? President elections, vice president elections. Next. State Legislative Assembly elections. What about this panchayats and municipalities? We have State Election Commission of India, that is PYQ. Okay, next one here is, I said about Article 324, right? Okay, next if you see the composition of Election Commission of India, how many members will be there? 3 members. What are they? First one is Chief Election Commissioner, second one and third one is Election Commissioners. And here you have to see about their eligibility criteria and reappointment process and removal process. Okay. And next if you see about this appointment of this election commissioners and chief election commissioners, who will be appointing them? President of India with consultation with regional commissioners and as well as other peoples. Okay, and here if you see about the functions of Election Commission of India, we have 3 types of functions. First one is administrative functions, second one is advisory functions, third one is quasi-judicial functions. And you will be getting a question like, consider the following functions of Election Commission of India. Which of the following are advisory functions? Which of the following are quasi-judicial functions? Which of the following are administrative functions? Without reading that, last we will see all those things, and all these are functions of Election Commission of India, and we will keep all the above. So don't do that. See clearly which is whether it is asking about advisory or quasi-judicial or administrative functions. So see that clearly and you have to mark it. So these are the small things UPSC will be using to eliminate the students. Don't fall into the traps. If you see this administrative functions, the first one here is, it will determine territorial areas. Who is giving that power? Power is given by Delimitation Commission Act of Parliament is giving power to Election Commission of India to go for demarcation. So here also UPSC can give you a statement like, Election Commission of India draw the boundaries, which is a power given in the constitution. No, it is given by Delimitation Commission. So in that way you have to be very careful. And next one is, it will prepare and periodically revise electoral rolls. Because of this, SIR is in use now. And next one is, it will notify the dates and schedules. Because of this, the present article is saying that it is going to release poll dates. And next one is, it will grant the recognition of political parties. And for political parties, Election Commission of India will allot symbols. And how many political parties we have? State political parties, national political parties, regional political parties. And you have to be aware with what is the criteria to say any political party as a national political party and state political party. On this also UPSC earlier asked the question. And you have to see how many national political parties are there in India. Tell me, how many national political parties are there in India? Recently, which political party got that status of national political party? Do you know this Aam Aadmi Party? Arvind Kejriwal? Idea? Do you have that idea? That party is the recent political party got this national political party status. So here you have to see about what is the criteria to be satisfied for a political party to get the status of national or state. This eligibility criteria is different for national and political and the state political party. You have to see that clearly. And you have to see at least the names of these political parties which got this national political party status. There are 8 political parties. If I'm not wrong, check once. Okay, try to write down the list also. And in your Lakshmikant also, I think that parties are there. So check once. And next one is, this Election Commission of India will determine model code of conduct, and it will prepare the roster of publicity of policies of political parties on radio and TV. And it will also cancel the polls if there is any event of rigging or any booth capturing. And next one is, it will request the president or governor related to the requisition the staff necessary for conducting of elections. So how much amount of staff, how many number of the staff they need. So they will be asking the permission for this governor or president, and they will supervise the machinery of elections throughout the country to ensure free and fair elections. And they will register political parties for elections and grant them the status of national or state political parties based on their performance. So these are the administrative functions of Election Commission of India. And if you see the advisory functions, they will advise the president on the matters related to disqualification. If there is any disqualification of any political party or any person in that political party, they will be giving advice to the president. And next one is they will also advise governor in the same matters related to state legislature. And they will also advise the president whether the elections can be held in that state or not. So in president's rule, we have one provision. What is that provision? We can extend this president's rule till 3 years. But if you want to extend it beyond, so what we have to do? There will be two conditions to be satisfied. What are those two conditions? So first one is national emergency should be implemented entire throughout our country or any part of our country. Second one is this Election Commission of India should give a report that elections cannot be conducted in that area. So if these two conditions are satisfied, then only we can extend this president's rule, right? So here that is also one advisory function of Election Commission of India, to give an advice to president that whether they can conduct elections in that state or not, to extend this emergency. Okay, these are the advisory rules of Election Commission of India. And what about this quasi-judicial functions? If there are any disputes related to granting recognition of a political party and allotment of election symbol, so again these disputes will be taken by this Election Commission of India. And even it will be appointing the officers to inquire into disputes related to electoral arrangements. So these are the different functions of Election Commission of India. So on this you may get 10 marker mains based question or directly a prelims based question this year in your 2026. Be careful. Okay, now let us see the next article. Look at the title. AP launches major project for wildlife conservation. So actually what is the important problem we are facing is human-animal conflict. Because of habitat destruction of these animals, they are coming out of their habitats and they are attacking the people, attacking the livestock. Because of this it causes huge losses. So because of this now different state governments are launching different projects to control this human-animal conflict. Here AP government launched a project called as Hanuman, HANUMAN. Because of this it is news. So you have to see the full form and you have to see the what are the features. How can you use this article? Whenever writing any answer regarding this wildlife conservation or environment protection, you can use this as a case study. Recently AP government launched a project called as Hanuman for wildlife conservation. That is a way that you can use this article. And in your prelims, you may get direct question. Recently, Hanuman project is in news. Which of the following state launched that? Earlier, UPSC asked this kind of questions related to the state's policies also. That is the second area. And third one is, recently AP government launched Hanuman project. Consider the following statements regarding that. They will give you 3 or 4 statements and they may ask you which of the above are correct or incorrect. Okay, so this article is useful in your mains. And even in your essay also, if you are writing about environment conservation, you can use this and you can add this as one dimension also. Okay. Now let us see this context. Hanuman project, the full form, please make a note. Healing and nurturing units for monitoring, aid and nursing of wildlife. Healing and nurturing units. Healing and nurturing units for monitoring, aid and nursing of wildlife. And it is a statewide program launched by AP government. What is the reason? To mitigate human-wildlife conflicts. How? By using advanced technology, rapid response mechanism and wildlife conservation efforts. Through these 3 things, they want to reduce this human-animal conflict now. If you see the key features and the components, the first one here is they're going to have rapid response infrastructure. In this rapid response infrastructure, they're going to have around 100 vehicles. And in this 100 vehicles, they're going to have rapid rescue vehicles, and they are going to have ambulances. There are 93 response vehicles and 7 will be ambulances. And each and every vehicle, they are going to provide a crew, that is nothing but the members who are from this forest range officer, veterinary personnel, tribal helpers, and as well as para-veterinarians for immediate rescue operations. And this one is they are also going to raise rapid response teams also in in conflict areas. So they are identifying the hotspots where there are more human animal conflict, and they are going to come up with this rapid response teams, and they identified key zones like Vishakhapatnam, Rajahmundry and Tirupati. And next one is they are going to have 4 wildlife rescue and treatment centers in these areas, and they are going to train these local wildlife protectors, and they are giving equipments regarding the rescue operations as well. And they are also using technology. Please make a note this technology. First one is AI based systems. First one is AI based system. They are going to track wildlife movement, and even they are going to give real time alerts to this forest border villages. And next they are going to have a dedicated Hanuman app also. In this Hanuman app there will be reporting of the people, and they will be also getting compensation, and they will be also coordinating with officials. And they are also going to have GPS tracking on vehicles, so that they can track this wildlife movement, so that they can give real time alerts to the people. And next one here is they're also going to provide some support measures, like if death happens because of this human animal conflict, government is going to provide 10 lakh rupees. If there are any injuries, 2 lakh rupees. If you are losing the livestock, then they will pay the market value of that livestock to this people. So these are the things that they are going to come up by this Hanuman project in AP, guys. Okay, see this next article. Title says Center rings rupees 5,000 crore deal to strengthen maritime security. This article is talking about maritime security, guys. Okay, if you see about our maritime security, India is having a very large coastline of around 11,098 kilometers. Here we have Arabian Sea, here we have Bay of Bengal, and here we have Indian Ocean region. And here we have China. Okay, here we have Pakistan, Iran. Okay, like this we have our countries in the world. Okay, if you see here in this Arabian Sea region, what are the threats we have here? First one is, we know Mumbai terror attacks. Because of this route only terrorists entered into India. First one is we have major threat called as terrorism. Next, and mostly these waterways are the route for trafficking, right? So we have drug trafficking, we have human trafficking, we have smuggling of arms, etc. And next, what are the other threats we have? Yes, here we have Horn of Africa. This Horn of Africa countries are like very poor countries. So because of this, what they'll do here is, what are the ships which are moving in this region? They will go for hacking and attacking, and they'll go and they will theft the things which are present in that ship. That is called as piracy. Piracy is one important problem here. Next, piracy, drug trafficking, arms trafficking, terrorism. And here we have what? Ports, and western coast and eastern coast are very famous for ports in our country. So in these ports also, many a times accidents can happen. Recently in AP port, accident happened, right? In ports, accidents can happen. And recently in this Kerala coast, we had issue of ship accidents, and that led to oil spill, thermoplastic nurdles issue. Again, we are having disasters. And next one is, this coastal area is very much prone to cyclones in our country, yes or no? Either from east coast or west coast we have problem of cyclones. Because of this cyclones also, our infrastructure, everything will be getting affected, right? Any other problems that we are facing now in these coastal regions? Okay, because of all these problems, now we understood that maritime security is very important. And as you all know that China is making these jellyfish drones, and they are releasing in the water, so that it will be a huge threat for our strategic locations in our Indian Ocean region. And even India is a leader in this Indian Ocean region, and is a leader of global south. Obviously, many countries, for them, India is providing the security. As a net security provider, we need to have the good maritime defense system. So who is controlling the defense in this water area in our country? First one is we have Navy, and second one is we have Coast Guard. Now this deal is talking about advancement of equipments to our Coast Guard. So now we are purchasing two equipments. First one is HAL helicopters. Next one is missiles. Because of this, it is in news. Okay. Now let us see about this article. So here Ministry of Defense signed contracts, and this contract value is around 5,083 crore, and we are getting 6 advanced light helicopters, Mk2 helicopters. We are getting 6, and next one is we are going to have still missiles for our Indian Navy. For Indian Navy we are getting missiles, and for Coast Guards we are getting this helicopters. Okay, why we are going for this is nowadays there is increasing of threats because of this West Asian issue. Because of this we have to improve our maritime security, and we have to address broad range of aerial threat that we are going to have in our coastal regions. And next one here is there is increasing of disasters in this coastal areas and increasing of oil spills, etc. So that we have to go for disaster management, and if there is any issue which happens because of the cyclones, our government has to provide humanitarian assistance and disaster management response. So for that we need this kind of equipments. And if you see about certain facts regarding this helicopter, it is India's indigenous HAL Dhruv helicopter variant. Please make a note. It is India's indigenous HAL Dhruv helicopter variant. So earlier we have this Dhruv helicopters, and we are making certain changes in that helicopters, and we are going to get one more new variant now. Okay, and it is developed by HAL, very important, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. And next important point you have to remember is, now this helicopter can carry troop of 12 to 14 passengers, and it can be used in casualty evacuation, search and rescue operations, and disaster relief operations. And it will be very important for our Coast Guard surveillance and offshore operations. And if we want to conduct any anti-submarine warfare also, this helicopters plays a very important role. And these helicopters will move at a speed of 260 to 280 kilometers per hour. Okay, and next one is surface to air still missiles, and these missiles we are getting from Russia. Please make a note, it is not indigenously made, it is Russian origin missile system, and it is surface to air missile system. Surface to air missile system, and the missile range is 50 to 70 kilometers, and they can move with a speed of Mach 4, and they can be launched from different altitudes, from 5 meters to 15 to 20 kilometers of altitude also we can use that missiles. And here one speciality of this missile system here is, for every 2 to 3 seconds we can launch a missile, so that we can drop multiple number of missiles as a swarm. Okay, that is the thing, it's nothing more than that. And see this next article, Canada under Carney is undoing the damage of Trudeau years. So this article is talking about agreement between India and Canada. In yesterday's class we discussed that we are going to have a long-term agreement with Canada. So Canada will provide uranium that will be helpful for our nuclear power generation, and we are also going to collaborate with Canada regarding small modular reactors. So this will be very important for our energy transition, and we can reduce our carbon dioxide emissions, and we can achieve our carbon neutrality by 2070. So that is the thing, guys, nothing more than that. Just see about that agreement that we studied in yesterday's class. And next topic is safety last. Explosive units flout rules for profit, putting workers at risk. So this article is talking about firecracker incident accident in AP. So here this entire first paragraph is talking about when and in which area this firecracker related accidents happened in AP. Okay, so this article is saying that India is having very high risk industries, and in this high risk industries there is very poor safety conditions that we are maintaining, and in that high risk industries we are employing unskilled workers because of cheap labor. So because of this, many a times there is a loss of lives of the people, and there is increasing of casualties in our country because of this high risk industries. No safety, no training, unskilled workers are employed at a cheap labor. That's the thing which mainly said here. And recently we discussed around 22 people they died in AP in Kakinada. And next one is, not only this is the first time, in October also, in October also in Sri Ganapati grand fireworks in Andhra Pradesh also, around 10 people will 10 people were died. And next one here is, they said about Sri Surya firecrackers in Kakinada killed around 20 people. So entire this first paragraph is talking about this firecracker accidents in AP. So in earlier class I said that there is one organization which will be controlling this firecracker industries in India. What is that organization? PESO, PESO. Please make a note. PESO. The full form of this PESO is Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization. P is for PESO. PESO is Petroleum and Safety Organization. PESO, Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization in India. It is a regulator of firecracker industries. So you may get question in this way. Firecracker industries is regulated by which of the following organization? In that, the answer will be PESO, Petroleum Explosives and Safety Organization is the regulator of firecracker industry, and this headquarters is located in Nagpur. Okay, so this article is saying that India is having large units of firecrackers in different states, and we created one organization dedicatedly to see all those firecracker industries. But still, why this kind of incidents are increasing? So this article from here till here said about what problems we are having. Only this paragraph, this ending of 10 to 15 lines is important from your examination point of view. So here this article is saying that PESO is a regulator which is located, headquarters is located in Nagpur. Many a times PESO officials itself, they are facing the CBI inquiry related to issuing of licenses by taking bribes. That means this organization is not working to the extent. Here they are taking bribes and they are giving licenses. Because of this officials itself, they are facing the cases from the CBI. The first problem. And next one is, they are corrupted. If they are corrupted, will they implement the laws? No. So there is no proper implementation of laws in our country. And next important problem they said here is, many a times these people take bribes and they oversee the safety practices of that industries. That is the third important problem that we are facing. And next one here is, there is no proper inspections. So these are the four important reasons which said that led to the failure of this PESO organization in our country. So here in the last, they said that what can be done here is, we have to enhance safety training, we have to enhance awareness among the workers related to this kind of laws, safety standards, everything, so that in future at least we can control this kind of incidents in future. That is about this article. It is talking about especially problems in this PESO. Okay, now let us see next article. Next article is talking about US-Israel attacks on Iran threaten global fuel trade. So this article is saying that because of these attacks in this West Asia, Iran closed Strait of Hormuz. That led to surge in oil prices in international markets. Okay, here you have to see some points here. They said that Qatar halted the production of liquefied natural gas at the world's largest exporter facility. That means what is the point that you can get here? World's largest exporter of LNG, liquefied natural gas, is Qatar. Please make a note of that. And next one is suspension of operations across refineries in other Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia, Iraq. And especially this Strait of Hormuz is a gateway of 20% of world's exports from the Gulf. From the Gulf itself, 20% of this exports, they will move on this Strait of Hormuz that had been closed now. Because of this, oil prices had increased by 12% now in the international market. So here this article is saying that this halt will be having impact on two countries more. That is, one is China and second one is India. So if you see the data regarding China, China receives 5.4 million barrels of crude oil per day from this Iran. From Iran itself, it will be getting 5.4 million barrels of crude oil. And India will be getting around 2.1 million barrels of oil from this West Asian countries every day to our country. So here, these two countries are getting more impacted. And Iran is exporting 97% of its oil to China as per 2024 records. Okay, and China is also getting supplies from Venezuela also of discounted crude. But now here, because of this kind of issues, China is getting affected the most. And India declared that we have certain reserves and we can sustain for around 50 days. That's the thing which mainly said here. And you have to see about even Strait of Hormuz. And here you have to see this data point which gave the details regarding liquefied natural gas, and as well as they gave data regarding crude oil. And here in this image you can see top 10 producers of crude oil in the world. In this top 10 we have US is the first, second one is Russia, third one is Saudi, and next one is China, next one is Iraq, Brazil, Iran, UAE, Kuwait, Norway. So see this top 10 producers of crude oil across the world, and please make a note of this after the class. Okay, and next one is they said about this graph. This graph is about prices of crude oil. Okay, say these questions, guys. With reference to the composition of Election Commission of India, answer the following statements. First one, the ECI consists of Chief Election Commissioner and two other election commissioners. All members of Election Commission of India are appointed by President on advice of Prime Minister. The tenure of election commissioners is 6 years or until they attain the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. Which of the statements are incorrect? Options 1 only, 2 only, 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only. 2 and 3. Think once. Okay, let us see the next question. Consider the following statements about the functions and responsibilities of PESO. PESO grants licenses and approvals for storage and transport of petroleum products, compressed gas and explosives. And second one is it investigates accidents involving explosives and destroys unserviceable or seized explosives for public safety. And next one is PESO has the authority to regulate only explosives and not petroleum or flammable substances. Which of the statements given above are incorrect? Tell me the answers. Online students, please let us know your answers in the comment box, guys. By this, I'm concluding. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And if you like this class, please hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends. And do subscribe to Rathod Science Academy, don't forget. And we launched recently GS Plenscom Mains Foundation batch in our institute. If you want to take course on online or offline, you can join. And if you want to join the fresh batch, it is going to be started very soon from this from next Tuesday onwards. So please try to join that course, guys. And if you have any queries, please do call us on this number 8074765513. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you, guys.